Welcome back for another book review. Today we are talking about this little one. So this is the Teen Witch's Guide to Spells, not to be confused with the one that we just barely talked about like a couple days ago, which was Spells and Charms. This is just Spells, and it is by a different author, and the name I'm not 1000% sure how to pronounce. I'm sorry I'm gonna get it wrong, because it's an X, and that's not a letter you come across very frequently, especially as the first letter of a name, but I'm assuming it's pronounced Xanna, because typically X's are pronounced as a Z. Eve Chown names this one. It's still the same illustrator as last time, by the way. Luna Valentine, again, or it could be Valentine, but I think it's Valentine. Anyways, this one. So this book goes over how to do spells. As the title would suggest, it talks about like the kind of setup for spells, how to prepare for spells, your like general tools, types of spells, like the elements, including them, just a little bit of everything, prepping for a spell. And then the second half is obviously a variety of spells that are definitely more appropriate for teenagers and actually kind of more tweens. So you've got spells for you, spells for home, spells for school, spells for friends, spells for luck, and spells for love. But honestly, it actually is so good. So I was surprised, but I actually gave this a 5 out of 5. This is one of my new absolute favorite books. It's one that, you know, again, I've been talking about this a lot, but the idea of like when we have our own little witchlings running amok, this is one of those books that I want to have as like a little thing to give them when they're old enough to actually start doing stuff. I know some pagans introduce a lot early on. I don't know how much like actual like spell crafting I'm gonna have them do early, but I feel like once they can like read when they're at like chapter book level, honestly they might be able to handle this. Obviously your children may vary, keep a mind of their maturity and stuff, but this actually has so much good information for like kid witches. And again, it depends on maturity level. Like there's, comparing it to my nieces and nephew, it's like different ages for different ones, you know, where it's like, okay, I would have waited till you were like 10, 12 before I gave it to you. And others, it's like, like 6, 7, you'd probably be fine. It just depends on the kid. But definitely by the time they hit like the tween years, so like 10 to 12, they would be fine with this book. And it is surprisingly good. Like I was shocked in comparing, that's a word, in comparing and in comparison to the last book. This is good. It did not have the text adapted from some other random author. The author actually just wrote this. And also it was good. The information was surprisingly super helpful. I think if you struggle with reading even as an adult and you're like, you get overwhelmed by the size of some of the books, this is actually like surprisingly really good information. And the spells aren't so kidsy that adults couldn't use it too. Honestly, let's be real, adult friendship is hard. That whole section's awesome. And the techniques are things that you can find in adult witchcraft books, that it's not necessarily dumbed down. It just gets more to the basic premise that a kid would need. And obviously you're an adult, you're gonna be watching your kid. So if they have questions, you can answer. But I think it actually does describe things in enough detail that they would be fine. Is this the only witchcraft book they should read? No. But it's a really good one. It's like a little, like, I was picturing like a little witchy spell basket of like books and tools and stuff that you would give them, and this is like one of those books they would have to have because it's so well written. I plan to gift it to my kids when I have them at some point because it is just so good. I also plan a copy for myself because again, it is surprisingly good. Like I did not anticipate liking this. I thought it was just going to be a quick, easy read and that I was going to hate it just as much as the last one. But no, she talks about consent for all kinds of spells and reminds you of that, which is amazing. Talks a little bit about safety. It talks just like about little things that, like, again, going into puberty, kids are going to need to remember of like, you know, don't do spells when you're angry and, you know, don't do them when you're super upset, and like techniques to kind of help. It's just a fantastic resource. So I would recommend this if you are a teen witch, a tween witch, if you are a pagan who's planning to be a parent. I think this is a fantastic book. Again, if you're planning to introduce magic and stuff to your kids, this is phenomenal. Again, you're gonna need to judge when you give it to them. And also, honestly, I'm gonna be real, I think most witches could use it, actually, regardless of age. It is just so well written. And to be honest, sometimes it is just nice on the eyes to have an easier book. Because these, beautiful, look at that. The artwork, stunning. But also, if I could actually get to a page, it's just so cute. It's, you know what? You can treat yourself to a small, easy read. And if you're like a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people who struggle to read through books, this is an easy one. It's easy on the eyes because it's a nice big font. There's not a whole lot of words. It's got pretty pictures. And like, it's okay. You don't have to like prove you're worthy of reading by reading like big thick books, like trying to get through Summer Ravenwolf's Ultimate Book of Shadows. That's gonna take you some time. That's gonna take me some time to get through. But like, this is just a nice, easy read, and it actually has so much information. I did not anticipate it being awesome, so now I'm like, I might actually have to read the whole series because there's other books, and this one was so much better than the other one that I'm like, maybe some of them will be good. So yeah, I highly recommend this. Pretty much everyone, if you're a beginner witch, just pick it up. It's, you know, it's okay to read books aimed at a younger age because sometimes just having it more simplified is kind of nice. So I loved this book. I would love to know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. A huge thank you to my patrons. If you would like to support me and get access to my audiobooks, monthly goal setting chit chat stuff. Am I hitting my goals? Are you hitting your goals? Let's talk about it. Also, exclusive book reviews, because some of them I feel like don't really fit the channel and I just want to chit chat about them. Like one that's going to be coming up soon that I'm listening to is Making It So by Patrick Stewart. It is a very long book, by the way. It's an audiobook, obviously, because I'm listening to it. And it's like 18 something hours, 19 hours, something like that. It's a long one, and I'm only like maybe 6 hours in. It's a long one. I'm only up to him being like 16. It's his memoir. It takes a long time. But I'm listening to that. We talk about other books as well. And then I also will be having my Witching Weekly, which is just a monthly, or not a monthly, a weekly, obviously, chit chat about a reading and some random witchy info and just stuff that I've been looking into and different topics of inspiration and such. And then lastly, I do vlogs and other random chit chats. All sorts of stuff over there. So if you want to check it out, patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. If you want to check out my books, they are linked down below. And until next time, thank you for watching to the very end. It means the absolute world to me that you are here and you are enjoying my content, and let's talk more books and all that jazz. And until next time, blessed be.